I'm actually the real daughter, who was switched at birth. On my first night back, my scheming sister purposely broke an antique vase to try and frame me. Thinking of the tragic events from my past life, betrayed by everyone, car crash, I didn't hesitate to give her a shove, taking the offensive, while crying dramatically. Sister, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. You won't blame me, right? Please. She can't possibly think I'm the naive pushover I was in my past life. I'm the real daughter, and Bella is the imposter. But since she was raised in the Veron family for 18 years, Dad still sees her as a daughter and wants me to call her sister. On my first day back from the orphanage, Bella was all over me with enthusiasm, checking on me and even helping with my suitcase. Honestly, my suitcase didn't have much in it, but watching her struggle to carry it up the stairs was almost comical. She acted like it was so heavy. Classic, kids who've been pampered since childhood are just frail. Dad watched and smiled with satisfaction, happy to have two obedient, sensible daughters. Of course, my sister is quite the obedient one. Riley, come check out your room, Bella said with a bright smile, as she linked her arm through mine. She looked genuinely pleased about my return, but this time, I didn't miss the cunning gleam in her eyes. Then, a loud crash shattered the corridor, and the antique vase lay in pieces. At the exact moment Dad was on his way up, I suddenly felt a tug at my arm and was pushed. Bella fell hard to the floor, her cry echoing as she did. Unfortunately for her, shards of glass cut into her palm. Dad saw the whole thing and rushed over, concerned. What happened? Bella trembled, clutching her bleeding hand, tears just on the brink. Just as she was about to speak, I cried out, my face pale as could be. Sister, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. I had no idea there was a vase there. You wouldn't blame me, right? Bella was shocked, clearly not expecting me to own up so readily. In our past life, she framed me. I stubbornly argued my innocence, claiming Bella had broken the vase and framed me. But Dad thought I'd done wrong and was trying to shift blame, with Bella playing the victim. He was so disappointed in me, never trusting me again after that. So many things went wrong after. I'm sorry, it's all my fault. I accidentally broke your vase. I can't do anything right. Maybe you should send me back to the orphanage. I blinked my doe-like eyes, crying pitifully. No, Riley, don't cry, Dad hastily soothed, patting my shoulder. Your sister's fine, just a little injury. Don't worry, it's just a vase. We can buy another one. Just as expected, Bella stood there speechless, her hand dripping blood onto her dress so visibly. I remember in my last life, Bella wasn't hurt at all. So this time, she wasn't prepared for my counterattack. Before her tears could fall, I helped her up, full of apologies. Sister, I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to. Can you forgive me? I cautiously watched her, and when she didn't answer, I looked timidly at Dad. Bella, Riley just got home and isn't familiar with everything yet. You need to give her some leeway. Bella's frustration showed on her face. Her expression was turning strange shades. She gritted her teeth. How could I blame you, sister? It was my own carelessness. It doesn't hurt. Of course, she was frustrated. With her strength and direction, she wasn't supposed to get hurt. How did she end up this way? Why did Dad so easily take my side? Oh, my dear sister, what could I do? You set this up. Since you say I pushed you, I naturally have to help you along. I admitted fault. So letting you bleed a little isn't too much, is it? After dinner, Bella played the part of tour guide, taking me shopping, insisting I pick out some new clothes. Riley, this brand has great fits. All my clothes are from here. You should try them too, she said, eyeing my washed-out clothes while dragging me into some fancy store. The salesperson immediately approached Bella with enthusiasm. Miss Veron, this is our latest collection. Probably because my clothes looked shabby, the salesperson shot me a glance, but kept her gaze on Bella, ignoring me completely. Bella couldn't tear her eyes away from a limited edition dress the second it was brought out. You go first, sister, I offered politely. Since it's limited edition, I obviously couldn't compete with her. 2 hours later, Bella was carrying bags and bags of purchases, while I randomly picked a few things. Bella tried picking clothes for me, which I politely refused. How funny. After what happened, does she really think she can fool me? In our previous life, she picked outfits that were mature and weird for me, causing me an embarrassing first day at school. Those clothes don't interest me now. My interest lies in watching Bella's performance instead. When it came time to pay, Bella casually pulled a gold card from her purse. Riley, swipe my card. It's Dad's extra card. Use it, she boasted, shooting me a glance. I held back laughter and played innocent, pulling out a black card. No need. Dad gave me an extra card too. Said I could use it at will. Of course, Bella's face froze, her expression darkening a bit. She wanted to flaunt her gold card, but didn't expect me to have a black one. On the way home, Bella seemed a bit upset, though I pretended not to notice. Being 18 years lost, Dad's guilt towards me is no small thing. A mere black card isn't much. Can't handle this. The real drama hasn't even started. A crying kid gets candy. That's something I learned in my past life. Bella's been in this house for 18 years, so she knows Dad's temper like the back of her hand. If Bella hadn't messed things up in our last life, Dad and I would have gotten along way better. He wouldn't have distanced himself from me, doubted me, or thought I was a bad apple. Dad's the type who's easily moved by softness, and I inherited his stubborn streak. Dad would see my stubbornness as me being difficult, but if I showed a bit of weakness, along with his feelings of guilt over me, Bella couldn't take advantage. She knows how to work it, but so do I. I just didn't want to go there. On night one of this clash, I won. She just had to swallow her pride. Relax, this is just the beginning. If we're doing this all over again, she'll have to taste what I went through. Time flies, and soon summer's over. Senior year began. Bella seemed to have learned her lesson. She kept her distance. Over the summer, we acted all lovey-dovey. She was a great sister to me and a model daughter to Dad. On the first day of school, I skipped the car ride with the driver. I got to school early by cab, on my own. I mingled with classmates even before Bella showed up. Last time, her head start gave her room to spread rumors. My quiet nature became antisocial in their eyes, and my sense of style was just lame. Their cold shoulders made me even quieter. My grades crashed from being top 5 in the class to not even making it to college. When she accused me of stealing later, no one believed me. I nearly got kicked out of school. Thinking about all that, the isolation, the false accusations, the distance from Dad, the car crash that ended it all, sends chills down my spine. When Bella got to the classroom, she acted all buddy-buddy, introducing me like, "This is my sister Riley. She's new around here. Don't pick on her, okay?" A classmate asked curiously, "Wait, you're sisters?" "Bella, you never mentioned a sister before." I glanced at Bella. It was like her face froze for a second. "Riley was living back home until now," Bella said, sounding a bit shaky. She tugged at my sleeve, eyes pleading. She was scared I'd spill the truth about her being adopted. I wasn't in the best health, so I'd been schooling back home. Now I've transferred here. Nice to meet y'all. I went along with Bella's story, because I promised Dad to keep the mix-up a secret for Bella's sake, as long as she didn't mess with me. Soon enough, it was time for the school anniversary show. The class president encouraged everyone to join in. There's no way Bella would miss the chance to shine. I was busy solving problems when Bella bounced up to me. "Riley, you signing up for a performance?" I bit my lip. "I'm not really good at anything. Just sign up for something. I'll do it for you. It's not like you'll definitely get picked, right? It's just to support the class president." Bella sweetly invited me. "All right." I agreed with a smile. Selection day arrived, and just like last time, I was doing a violin performance. Just my luck, I picked the same piece as the school heartthrob, Rowan. In the past life, I thought she'd sign me up for something easy like singing or reciting. I remember turning beet red, embarrassed, saying I couldn't perform. Everyone thought I was trying to stand out, calling me a show-off. The host called my name. This time, under Bella's amused gaze, I took to the stage confidently, my performance capturing all the applause. The teacher even paired me with Rowan to perform on the anniversary day. Meanwhile, Bella's solo dance didn't make the cut. As the teacher announced it, Bella's face went from shock to awkwardness, then anger. It was quite a sight. "Riley, when did you learn violin?" "You didn't know, dear sis. Weren't you the one who signed me up?" I gave her a smug smile, my words pointed. Bella was fuming and at a loss for words. A shadow suddenly loomed over me. I looked up to see Rowan. Seeing him, Bella quickly switched her expression, intimately holding my arm. Riley, free after class. Let's practice violin together. Rowan's eyes sparkled. Gotta say, his voice was something else. I felt Bella's grip on my arm get tighter. Rowan and I exchanged numbers, setting up our next practice. After he left, Bella seethed. Riley, I underestimated you. She huffed, storming off. She only knew I was good at schoolwork. She had no idea that after that public humiliation, I spent countless nights crying and practicing that piece. Riley, you're amazing. I'm seeing you in a whole new light. You're playing with Rowan. Riley, you're like a goddess to me. Classmates buzzed around, showering me with praise. Being sisters, comparisons with Bella were inevitable. Riley, you're cooler than Bella. You're making our class proud. Stuff like that. I heard it all week. I'd modestly say, oh, you're too kind. My sister's great too. Just had an off day this time. After this, Bella and I couldn't hide our friction. She pretty much ignored me on the way home from school. 4 days she was in a foul mood. Dad just thought it was typical sibling bickering and tried to mediate. But when she went into the study, they ended up arguing instead. 3 Dad, why are you always taking Riley's side? Just because she's your biological daughter and I'm not? Bella, what are you talking about? Don't think I don't know. You and Riley are just trying to get rid of me. Now that she's back, you both only care about her. I've always treated you and Riley equally. I would never play favorites. You're lying. Riley stole my stuff. She shouldn't have come back. Slap. Bella, I'm very disappointed in you. A long silence followed with no further sounds coming from the room. Bella ran out of the study crying. I stood outside, looking pale and with red eyes. Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't know she... I lowered my head and asked quietly, should I not have come back? A tear slid down my cheek and fell onto the floor. Dad sighed and patted my head. Riley, don't think that way. Your sister's spoiled by me. Just focus on school. I'll take care of it. I didn't know how Dad handled it. I just knew Bella had hurt Dad's heart, just like I had in my past life. Back then, the one getting slapped was me. I was hysterical too. Bella got back to her usual lively self soon enough. But whenever Rowan and I practiced piano alone, Bella would tag along. She claimed it was to watch over me since I wasn't familiar with the place. Whenever Rowan showed up, she'd act super sweet and gentle. Honestly, her intentions were pretty obvious. Originally, I just wanted to surprise Bella and make a better impression on my classmates. But Rowan showing up was a surprise. I never thought Bella would become so upset because of him. Bella liked Rowan, and it was a secret crush. Knowing this, I got closer to Rowan. Like every practice, I'd sit really close to him. We'd spend more time practicing together, trying to get in sync. I'd even bring him a bottle of water daily. Rowan played along too, bringing me milk tea or little snacks every now and then. It felt like he was a gift from above. Each time I saw Bella fuming outside the music room, it gave me a sense of satisfaction. The day of the school anniversary finally arrived. Bella was trying hard to hide her smile that morning. I had a gut feeling she was up to something again. Knowing her usual ways, she wouldn't give me a chance to shine during such an important event. But up until we reached backstage, everything seemed fine. Maybe I was overthinking it. With an hour until the performance, the makeup artist had already finished with Rowan and me. As soon as Rowan appeared, he attracted a lot of attention. His sharp and chiseled features were like they were sculpted by an artist. His eyes were cold, with clean and neat facial lines. He seemed like a prince straight out of a comic. I couldn't help but stare. Riley, aren't you going to change into your dress? The class president's voice snapped me out of my daze. She teased me with a smile. Were you just thinking about the school hottie? Oh, stop it. I was thinking about the upcoming exams. I was quick to change the subject. I admit I was captivated by Rowan's looks, but I didn't have romantic thoughts at all. Hey, Riley, what happened to your dress? The class president exclaimed as she opened the wardrobe, surprised. I froze and quickly pulled the dress out. The originally fluffy tulle dress had its skirt cut into strips. Who would do such a thing? Riley, do you know who did this? Her voice drew a lot of attention our way, and I shook my head, signaling her to lower her voice. This wasn't the time to draw unwanted attention. The hall was filled with school leaders and outside guests. No matter what, I couldn't risk ruining the performance. If I were to guess, it was probably Bella's doing. I'd been too careless, thinking she'd have some sense of propriety given the importance of this event. But she just wanted to embarrass me, completely disregarding the school's reputation. What should we do? I asked the teacher, but the backup dress is missing too. With the school celebration already started, the president was almost in tears. For a big event like this, the school usually had backup dresses ready. Bella must have planned ahead, making the backup dress disappear too. The school was too far to run back and change into another dress. I couldn't think of any better options at the moment. If worst came to worst, I could just cut off the strips and wear it without the skirt, but that would look a bit shabby. Riley, what's wrong? Rowan walked over, noticing my worried expression. Rowan, there's an issue with the dress. I showed him the shredded skirt. We had about 20 minutes before our performance. Don't worry, leave it to me. Rowan gave me a reassuring look and then made a phone call. I have a friend who owns a dress shop nearby. I'll have them bring one over right away. Even though people say Rowan can be aloof and hard to approach, he really isn't. Right now, he seemed so warm. The dress arrived in about 15 minutes. It was similar to the original, a white princess-style dress. I quickly changed, just in time for the MC to announce our performance. As I was about to head out, Rowan suddenly held my hand. Riley, don't be nervous, I'm here. I nodded with a small smile. Those words were like a warm stream flowing into my heart. The performance went as smoothly as expected. We received thunderous applause from the audience. I watched my classmates cheering for me below, a stark contrast from the mockery in my past life. After the show, I found Bella laughing and chatting in the classroom. The class president saw me coming in looking furious and quickly pulled our classmates out of the room. They also shut the door behind them. I slapped Bella right across the face. That slap is for your lack of decorum. You have no sense of the bigger picture. Riley, are you crazy? Bella held her face, utterly shocked. I couldn't tell if she was more surprised that I'd finally dealt with the mess, or that I'd actually slapped her. Maybe both. You know who's really crazy? Bella tried to slap me back, but I caught her wrist in time. Those taekwondo sessions over the weekend weren't for nothing. Besides, I was taller and stronger than her. After calming down, I went to tell the homeroom teacher what happened. The next day, Dad found out and also gave Bella a stern talking to. Riley, it's my fault for not raising your sister properly. Don't blame me. It's tough to change feelings built up over 18 years of living as family, even without blood ties. Dad, don't worry about it. My sister just made a mistake. She'll change. I tried to comfort him, knowing he must be feeling torn. After all, his daughters were at odds. I learned in my past life that while Dad did care about me, the feelings weren't as strong compared to Bella. He felt more guilt towards me, his biological daughter. This matter quickly blew over. Bella quieted down for a while, not really targeting me anymore, as the first big senior year exam was coming up. I remembered in the past life exam results. I got 3rd in the grade, and Bella got 5th. Despite Bella's spoilt nature, she was always near the top of the class. But after this exam, she couldn't accept falling behind me. That led to her plotting to frame me for stealing a classmate's diamond necklace. No one believed me at the time, and the classroom's security cameras just happened to be broken, nearly getting me expelled. This time, knowing who Bella's accomplice from the last event was, I had to bring both of them down. Striking first is key. When results came out, I was 10th in the grade. Bella had dropped out of the top 50. Compared to last time, we both slipped down a bit. She was too caught up in our rivalry, neglecting her studies. From being reborn, I forgot how to solve some problems, especially in physics. To improve, I went to the library to research. Rowan was there too. I couldn't help but marvel. A top student who was still working hard even as the school's #1. After a polite greeting, we started studying separately. Riley, that jerk. I underestimated her. Bella, don't stress. You'll definitely outscore her next time. How dare she try to steal what's mine? Dad won't help me, and even Rowan's mine. Riley can't dream of getting him. Wow, enemies are bound to meet. I came out to fill my water and ran into Bella. She was venting to another voice, which turned out to belong to the class president. Bella had been sabotaging in quiet ways, even managing to swipe the school's spare dress for the celebration. It couldn't have been her alone. Her accomplice could easily access me and the backstage during events. It had to be the class president. Not surprising at all. On the day of the school's celebration, I only suspected. Now, the evidence is clear. They wanted to humiliate me, but didn't count on Rowan stepping in to help. Based on Bella's determination to get Rowan, I realized she's not only a fool, but also delusionally in love. Does she not know being a fool only results in picking wild vegetables? Their chat ended. I quickly slipped out of the pantry and saw Bella and the president sitting at a nearby table. I felt a surge of delight. I grabbed my physics problem set and walked over to Rowan. Hey Rowan, could you help me out with this physics problem? He looked up, a faint smile playing around his lips. I admitted I'd maybe sounded a little bit overly sweet. But did he have to stare like that? Help, social death incoming. Which one? He asked with a raised brow. This one. I leaned closer, pointing it out. I hadn't tied my hair up since I just washed it, and it accidentally brushed against his face. We both froze. To make things easier, I grabbed a chair and moved next to him. I sneaked a quick glance at Bella. She was shooting daggers with her eyes, probably itching to tear me apart, while the class president was quietly advising her. Our eyes met, and the president looked a bit awkward. I cracked a smile and sent a cheeky challenge back. Oops, what could I do? I didn't mean it. I legitimately didn't get the problem. Focus. Don't get distracted. Rowan lightly knocked on my forehead. Feeling guilty, I looked at him and quickly focused. OOF, caught daydreaming on the spot. Rowan explained the problem carefully, offering two methods. One was the standard approach, the other a clever shortcut. As soon as he finished, it all became clear to me. Guess being reborn made my brain a little dull. I used that shortcut method before. On my way out, I felt like Rowan was a bit off. He said he'd learned that method elsewhere. When I got home, Bella came straight into my room. Riley, you did that on purpose, didn't you? Bella was clearly unsettled, a bit frantic. 5 Yeah, I totally did it on purpose. I smirked and replied, I stole Dad on purpose, got the spotlight on purpose, got close to Rowan on purpose. What are you gonna do about it? You like Rowan too, don't you? Bella shot at me, eyes full of anger. I never said that. Riley, I always knew you were just using Rowan. I wasn't in the mood to argue, so I just put on my headphones and listened to my online class. I suggest you stay away from him, or else there will be consequences. So she's declaring war. Great, I'm all for it. I've been waiting for her to come at me. Please shut the door, thanks. Bella left in a huff, slamming the door on her way out. It's hilarious how Bella is so love-struck. Isn't senior year more about studying than dating? Those love gurus are still picking wild herbs on TikTok. Wise people stay out of love. Lately, Bella's been hitting the library more often. At first, I thought she was there to study, but whenever I check, she's always sitting close to Rowan. Of course, I grab every chance I get to ask Rowan physics questions. Riley, do you really not understand? Rowan raised an eyebrow and asked, all serious. Oops, might have slipped up. I really don't. I nodded like a chicken pecking at grain. Actually, it's only the last big question I don't get. But hey, with a top student explaining stuff, even the easy bits sound exciting. I'm all ears, naturally. Isn't this a bit distracting for you? I felt a bit guilty, thinking I was taking up too much of his study time. Rowan kept writing but muttered, not at all, just keep working. Phew, good to hear. Seems like my little provocation worked, and Bella couldn't sit still anymore. The next day at the library, Bella was already next to Rowan, asking about questions on her test. I just grabbed a random spot and dove into my sea of exercises. Soon, I felt someone next to me. Rowan, wasn't he helping Bella? I glanced Bella's way. She looked so defeated. Rejected? I asked him, what brings you over? She's annoying, Rowan said with an annoyed frown. Blunt much? I suddenly felt a friendship was budding between me and Rowan. This guy gets me. I find her annoying too. After study hall, Rowan and I went our separate ways. Bella caught up with me from behind. Riley, you aren't going to be happy for long. Oh, what do you mean? She pulled out a pen and clicked it. Riley, you did it on purpose, didn't you? Yeah, I totally did it on purpose. You like Rowan too, don't you? These words sounded a bit familiar. Sounded just like our chat that night. Oh, a recorder. I knew it was weird for her to come to my room late at night just to fight. She was setting me up, watching her smug look. I couldn't help but laugh coldly, and then, I already sent a copy to Rowan, gotta give it to Bella, that's a smart move. Except, she totally misread the situation between me and Rowan. Oh, he already mentioned it to me earlier. I cleared my throat. He asked me to pass on a message. Bella looked hopeful hearing Rowan had something to say. I leaned in and whispered like a devil in her ear, he said you're annoying. Bella was stunned, her disbelief clear as day. No way, you're lying. She glared at me. That's what he said. Doubt it. Ask him yourself. I shrugged, indifferent. Bella's eyes turned sad. He wouldn't. I swear I heard her heart shatter. Oh boy, a teenage heart got crushed. Actually, Rowan didn't say anything before. That message was all me. I didn't do it on purpose. Just a little sibling banter. I'm sure Bella won't actually confront him. MS. Stubborn wouldn't risk humiliating herself. A bit of pride has to stay intact, after all. But Rowan listened to the recording and didn't mention a thing to me. He must be mad, I guess. I admit, I wasn't all pure from the start. I do feel guilty for using the excuse of asking questions to spend time with him. If he asks me, I'll definitely say sorry properly. The next morning, Bella's eyes were red and puffy. Cried all night, perhaps. Makes sense. Dad's on a trip, and she's got no one to complain to. Honestly, it was her choice to cry, so she can't blame me. The whole day, Bella was glued to the class leader. They were whispering, darting to the security office after class. Oh boy, they are plotting something big. I've been anticipating this. Sure enough, a few days later, the class beauty lost her diamond necklace. Apparently, it was her late mother's and worth a fortune. Missing her mother, she always kept it close. That morning it was there, but by lunch, it was gone. The lost necklace caused an uproar. Class beauty, usually so gentle, was really upset and crying. Naturally, our classmates couldn't just stand by. Some wanted to call the cops. Others suggested an internal search first. It's likely an inside job, considering the short lunch break. Whoever took the necklace better own up. It'll be embarrassing if you get caught. Yeah, owning up now saves face. Once the cops come, we all look bad. The guys were trying to go the confess or else route. Everyone whispered and speculated about the thief, but no one stepped forward for a good while, leaving the air tense. I glanced over at Bella. She shot me a glare. Seems like she's gotten craftier, not accusing me right off the bat. Doesn't match her usual style. 6. Why don't we check the surveillance footage? The class president suggested. Let's figure this out ourselves without making a big deal of it. It won't look good otherwise. Everyone agreed. Originally, there were 2 cameras in the classroom, one in the front and one in the back. But the back camera had been broken for a while, and the maintenance hadn't come to fix it. A few students, along with the class president, went to the security office to check the footage, but they were told that the front camera was also broken. Oh, great, no surveillance footage, and no one willing to come forward. Maybe we should call the police. A theft this big would definitely lead to a report. The police hadn't arrived, but the school administration did. If this incident got out, it would certainly hurt the school's reputation. The teacher asked everyone for their opinions and decided to check everyone's bags. The lunch break was short, and no one had left the school. If it was an insider, the necklace was likely still in the classroom. Everyone agreed, except me. This is my personal property. I can refuse a search until the police arrive. Instantly, everyone's eyes were on me. From surprised to suspicious, I picked up the phone. I'm going to call the police. Wait a sec, Riley. The teacher quickly stopped me. She pulled me aside, trying to reason with me emotionally. I eventually agreed to the teacher's suggestion, but I had a demand. I want the real culprit punished so we can clear our names. Given how much time had been wasted, everyone was getting frustrated, and they all supported this. The teacher promised multiple times that justice would be served. Great. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. To everyone's shock, the necklace was found in my bag. The diamond's sparkle felt like a slap across my face. After all, I'd just been demanding severe punishment. Everyone's jaws dropped. Except Bella and the class president. And me, of course. Bella and the president were the masterminds. But I was just a player in their scene, one I had rehearsed in a previous life. I clearly remembered how Bella stepped forward last time, pleading my case. She claimed I came from a small town, implying I was driven by greed, begging everyone to forgive me. Everyone believed her then, and I, without a defense, was escorted home by Dad, nearly expelled. But now, people were reacting differently. How could it be Riley? She doesn't seem like that kind of person. Riley, is there a mistake? Previously, my life was in shambles. This time, I was prepared. No mistake, the necklace was in my bag, but I can't explain it. In the midst of confusion, I handed the necklace to the class president. But I didn't take it. The back camera can prove it. As soon as I said this, the room was in an uproar. Bella's face turned pale. So did the class president's. Actually, the back camera had been fixed recently. I'd made sure of it by pestering the maintenance office for 2 whole days. The surveillance footage uncovered the truth. Bella had stolen the necklace and put it in my bag. The class president covered for her while Bella executed the plan. They had deliberately disabled the front camera too. The truth was now clear. This whole mess ended before the cops arrived. Not only did Bella destroy the classroom cameras, but she also framed a classmate. Because of this, the school summoned her parents. But Dad was overseas and sent his assistant instead. As the victim, I tearfully apologized to everyone. I didn't know it was my sister. She's never really liked me. I'm sorry for the trouble. My desk mate stood up for me. Riley, it's not your fault. Don't cry. She's treated you terribly. She doesn't deserve to be your sister. Somehow, news got out that Bella and I were mistakenly switched at birth. Everyone sympathized with my predicament. Bella and the class president were persuaded to leave the school. They were going to be expelled, but since finals were approaching, they were only asked to leave. This decision made me pretty happy. Bella could never hold her head high again. Her once proud demeanor now resembled a wilted peacock. This time, I won beautifully. I secretly applauded myself. After the incident, Bella never returned to school. She stayed home, studying for her exams. Everything seemed calm. But I knew, Bella wouldn't just let it go. In the past, she bullied me repeatedly, leading to my tragic car accident. And now, with her completely defeated, she's not going to give up easily. She's like a cornered rabbit, dangerous when cornered. But I'm the hunter. She stands no chance against me. Dad was disappointed in Bella, and warned her to straighten up, or face being kicked out of the house. Bella seemed to get the message, and avoided me recently. I knew she resented my presence, thinking I was competing with her for everything. But she might have forgotten. I'm Dad's real daughter. She's the imposter. To eliminate all threats, in the previous life, she sabotaged my car. After I was falsely accused last time, Dad took me home and begged the school to let me stay. But since I hadn't done anything wrong, I refused to admit I had. I was hysterical, leading to a huge argument with Dad. He hit me, calling me ungrateful and unrepentant. In my anger, I went back to the orphanage. Uncle, our driver, kindly drove me back, but we got into an accident. We both died instantly. Perhaps consumed by injustice, my soul lingered. I learned from the police's report that the car had been tampered with. I knew Bella had done it because she wanted me gone forever. I could never forget the malice in her eyes. To bait Bella into repeating her crime, I mentioned to Dad that I wanted to visit the orphanage. Dad gladly agreed and even offered to accompany me. Bella's eyes lit up with a certain glint. I knew she took the bait. Only by forcing her into a drastic move and fully provoking Dad could I oust her. 7 With the holidays coming up, school has already let out. I've packed my things to go visit the orphanage. Before leaving, I went to Bella's room. As soon as she saw me, her face turned sour. Riley, what are you doing here? Obviously, I'm here to see you make a fool of yourself. The more miserable you are, the happier I get. She rolled her eyes and snorted. Riley, I admit I wasn't as skilled before, but I'll never willingly give up. That's exactly what I want, for you not to give up. I threw that line at her and walked out, leaving Bella frozen in shock. I want her to make a fatal mistake. I slowly went downstairs and heard her say behind me, I hope you never come back. I knew she probably had someone tamper with the car. In my past life, I never did come back. But this time, the one not coming back should be her. She has no idea every move she's making is part of my plan. I thought she'd abandon her plan with Dad in the car. But now it seems it's more than jealousy. Fear of me taking her stuff. She's just naturally vicious. The car quickly left town, approaching the mountain road. Last time, this road is where the driver and I met our end. Thinking about that car crash, A strange chill crept up my spine, and I felt a bit queasy. I clutched my stomach and weakly said, "Uncle, can you stop the car? My stomach hurts." "What's wrong, Riley?" I saw Dad asking anxiously. I intentionally lowered my voice. "Dad, my stomach suddenly hurts. Can you take me to a hospital?" Seeing my cold sweat and pale face, Dad had the driver uncle turn back to the hospital. "This time, we're not on the steep mountain road. Even if the brakes fail, it shouldn't result in a fatal crash." Leaning back in the seat, I closed my eyes to rest until there was a loud bang and the car hit the barrier. Warm blood dripped down my head. It hurt so much. Because of my earlier stomach pain, I'd undone my seatbelt and was thrown against the car door. The searing pain spread through my body. Fighting dizziness, I called out, "Dad, it hurts," and passed out. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed. The first thing I saw was Dad, who gently touched my head. "Riley, how do you feel? Does your head still hurt?" I gave him a small smile and weakly shook my head. "Riley, I'm so sorry." Dad's voice was choked, as if something blocked his throat. "It's my fault. I almost cost you your life." I wanted to comfort him, but I opened my mouth and nothing came out. He sighed deeply, tears rolling down his cheeks. He seemed to age 10 years overnight. I knew Dad had made up his mind. Bella was willing to sacrifice him to hurt me. Dad wouldn't forgive her anymore. With that weight lifted, my plan succeeded. It was worth eating so much mango. I'm allergic to mangoes and they trigger gastritis. For this plan, I ate a lot deliberately, just to wait for this moment. This way, I'd miss the crash without a trace and let Dad see her cruelty. I pretended not to know anything and stayed in the hospital to recover. I found a moment to ask Dad, "Why hasn't my sister visited me?" "Riley, don't mention her again. She's not your sister." Dad's tone was more resolute than ever. He must have cut all ties with Bella. "I'm sure she won't be coming back home now. Maybe she's been arrested." Staring at the white ceiling, my thoughts were a mess. I'd finally avenged past wrongs, defeating Bella. I should have been happy, but I only felt a tinge of bitterness. For revenge, I became just like Bella. I turned into the kind of person I hated most, using people around me, doing whatever it took for revenge. I hardly recognized myself. If Dad knew I'd baited Bella, he'd probably be disappointed. And Rowan, I still haven't apologized to him. There was a knock on the door. I thought it was a nurse coming to change my bandage. I looked up, surprised to see Rowan. Since Bella had given him the recording, I hadn't seen him. "Riley, did you do it on purpose? You knew Bella intended to harm you, and yet you deliberately got hurt." I bowed my head in silence, unsure how Rowan knew this. "You got close to me just to upset Bella." I stayed silent, because he was right. I couldn't argue. After his questions, Rowan fell silent, watching me. His gaze made me feel guilty, and I couldn't meet his eyes. The tension was strange. I had intentionally approached him, and I knew I needed to apologize. "Well, what about me? Do you?" He suddenly changed the topic, his eyes flickering. I stared at him, my heart pounding in my ears. I expected him to be angry, to yell at me. Instead, his eyes were filled with concern. Was he worried about me being hurt? I swallowed, avoiding his gaze. "Riley, you know what I mean, right?" I opened my mouth, but couldn't find the words. "Rowan and I come from different worlds. I was a demon back from hell, scheming Bella to take a shot at me. My world was dark, with no light, not even much affection for Dad. Rowan was so good to me, and I still used him without a second thought. I let myself get used by you willingly. You deliberately got close to me, and I don't care about that. But you shouldn't be messing around with your life. You don't have to respond. I just wanted you to know." Rowan didn't wait for me to finish, and just let it all out. His eyes were bright and genuine, with a blush reaching his ears. He had deep eyes, like starlight falling into the ocean depths, and I felt like a fish at the bottom of that ocean, suddenly seeing a glimmer of light. Inside, countless voices were telling me I should grab that light immediately, even if it might disappear the next second. I remember, he once said he wanted to get into Cambridge. I had a thought and smiled at him. "How about we meet at Cambridge?" I heard him chuckle softly. "All right." His voice was low, but to my ears, it was more thrilling than a drumbeat. Bella was sent to prison, charged with attempted murder. It was my dad who personally put her in there, and his cut ties with her. After the college entrance exam, I visited her once, just once. You won, Riley. Bella, behind the glass, was no longer as proud as she used to be. Her eyes were lowered, never looking at me. I don't know if I've won, but I do know you lost. Bella let out a cold laugh. Yeah, I lost. But I really want to know, how do you always manage to escape? Do you believe in past lives and present lives? Bella was puzzled, not understanding why I'd say that. She surely didn't know that ever since I was reborn, I constantly thought about revenge. All the time, I wanted to repay her for everything I had suffered. Now, I've done it. I've successfully driven her out of the Veron family. Riley, I lost not because I'm less capable, but because you always had good luck. Her voice grew louder. Why do you come back and take Dad from me, take Rowan, steal all my spotlight? It's not fair. I rigged the car, but how did you escape? Why don't you just die, so I could be the real daughter of the Veron family? So you wanted me gone so bad, you didn't even spare Dad. He raised you for 18 years. Moments ago, Bella was hysterical, and now she suddenly fell silent. I didn't mean to hurt Dad. I begged him not to go with you, Bella said, covering her face as she cried. But he just yelled at me, said he was afraid you'd be all alone. I had no choice. I asked Bella if she regretted it. She said she never did. Great, neither do I. Rowan extra. The first time I met Riley was at the physics competition in junior year. Back then, she was called Riley and represented her town's high school. I thought I'd easily get first place like last year, but she got it. I couldn't believe she was from a small town. Though dressed simply, her demeanor while answering questions was calm and confident. Her thinking was fresh and interesting, breaking the conventional approach. She reminded me of a sunflower, always facing the sun. The second time I saw her, she was Riley playing the violin on stage. It was clearly the same person, yet somehow different. Riley's eyes held no warmth, only indifference. She seemed to not remember me. The teacher wanted us to perform together, and I gladly accepted. We practiced violin together, and there's always someone around her. Whenever Bella showed up, Riley would deliberately get closer to me. I enjoyed her buying me water every day, so I'd bring her snacks in return. On the day we performed, her dress had an issue, and I helped her out. I thought we were at least acquaintances by then. Though our performance got a lot of praise, Riley wasn't as happy as I imagined. During the first monthly exam, Riley placed 5th in the grade. Her physics performance was unbelievably poor. I couldn't fathom what had happened for her to fall behind this much. I was in the library doing some research, and Riley came over to ask about physics problems. I demonstrated the solving method she'd used before, but she seemed to have forgotten it all. I began to understand that as long as Bella showed up, she'd become this version of Riley, cold and deliberate. When Bella came to me with that recording, I wasn't surprised at all. I knew she was getting close to me to provoke Bella. I wasn't mad. I actually felt a bit sorry for her. Alone in an unfamiliar place, she had to tread carefully to get her father's attention. No wonder she never smiled genuinely. I wanted to bring back the Riley that was like a sunflower, but she seemed to always avoid me, and for a long time, we never crossed paths on campus. I was busy with the early admission stuff, and often wasn't at school. Until I heard about something missing from her class that brought in the school authorities, I rushed back to school. I found a video of Bella messing with the surveillance system and hurried to their classroom. I saw her expose Bella's framing and playfully apologize to her classmates. I knew she was doing it on purpose, but I didn't find her pretentious at all. She was smart, brave, and didn't need my protection. After Bella was expelled, I thought she'd finally be happy, but during winter break, I heard she got hurt, and Bella ended up in jail. I was furious and went to see her, wanting to ask why she'd hurt herself. But once I saw her, I felt a bit relieved. Fortunately, it was just a minor injury. She didn't dare meet my eyes and just avoided me. I knew she understood what I meant, yet I was afraid she'd reject me if she spoke. I didn't need a response. I just wanted her to know. But this time, she not only smiled at me, but also invited me to meet her at Cambridge. No matter who she is, I'll be waiting for her at Cambridge. The end.